Man Cavers, and what are we doing today? We are back to do a bit more on the Douglas. A lot of people have been asking about this. We're going to get back on with it. Put it in this cradle what the old engine was on so we can actually hold it. Yes, I haven't made a trolley up yet. And then we'll try and get the tin work back on. Aha! Roll the credits. Welcome to the Man Cave. Let the games begin. So here we are. We have took our seized Douglas off here, and we're going to put this Douglas on here. Now I've given this a mild clean down. This is temporary till I make a proper trolley, but well, officially this is the proper trolley. I've just found out. Look, as I was cleaning, I found a sign. There, generating set Douglas, 1200 VA, 350 watts. WDN number, that's gone, VP 1697 by BSA Co Limited. So were these made under license by BSA and they used a Douglas engine? Have no clue, but we have the original brass plate. This originally was meant to be a cage that come up and round, and someone's cut it off, and there would have been a generator which ran off these two V pulleys in the back here. Would have came up and your generator would have sat on top of the engine. Bearing in mind this is the exhaust. Which exhaust was it? Yeah, if you remember rightly, originally this had a little exhaust, two separate exhausts what come out. This is one what come on the old engine. So yeah, there would have been a generator sit on top here, drive off belts there, and the whole thing would have been in a cage. Unfortunately, over the years, somebody's hacked all the cage off, so we're just left with this base plate. But it'll hold it. We need this base plate because this fitting here is what the bottom tin work go to. There's a bolt go through there into the bottom tin work, and we need to make a bracket up to hold it on the engine at the top. So let me get you set up. We'll get this engine dropped on here, and then we'll go from there. Aha! Hey, yeah, we've got to turn this round because we want our cowling at the back here, because that's where the mounting is. So our flywheel needs to come at the back here. There, he's dropped on. Let's get some bolts in this, shall we? Make sure everything's lined up. There we go. She's on her trolley. Let's get her bolted down. Alright, let's get her bolted on. I'm using the original bolts that came off the old engine. They look like stainless steel to me. I don't think the military messed around here, you know. If we can find the hole, there's the hole. Let's see if we can get these on here. I think what I'm going to do is get the bolts through the holes and then jiffle around getting the nuts on, just to make sure these are all the right ones. I'm assuming this engine will go in this trolley. Would you believe it? Now it's starting to bloody rain. God, we've had rain for a week, haven't we? Alright, due to unforeseen weather conditions, we've had to move inside. Hence why the light isn't so good. But we have our cowling. Now, I have took the liberty of cleaning up the inside of this and red oxide, because once that's on, we're not going to get it off very easy. So all the bits you don't see, I have give some red oxide. What do we do with this outer casing, guys? Do we paint this outer shield, because there is, it's a job to see in this light, but there is quite a bit of the original military green left on there. Now, if this was oily ragged up, what would it look like? I don't know. On the top there, why there's a hole, there was a nut welded on there with a wrong off bolt in it. So there was no way I was going to get that out. I ground the lot off, so I'm going to cheat and put a riv nut in there to hold the bracket on the top. It'll be fine, just don't tell anyone. So, do we paint this? Do we leave it? Or shall we see what it's like on the engine? This is what I mean, but this engine had to go up. Now, I found a bolt what go in the bottom. I went through my Whitworth collection. And there was another knot like that on the top. But there was no way I was going to get the wrong off nut out there. And that was all heavily corroded, so I'm afraid that went. But what I was saying is, this cowling goes underneath the engine like so. Somehow. There you go. And it bolts. This bolt goes right up underneath. And it's on my pallet end, so I'm going to have to tip the engine backwards so I can actually reach. See that, or I've got to come forward on the pallet so I can get to that bolt. There we go. Can we get to where that nut is? Oh yeah, it's right at the front there. Right, so that nut hopefully should line up somewhere with this. I don't really want to go tip the engine because that's full of oil. That would be easier if I could stand the engine a little bit on its end. I don't suppose that's going to hurt it, is it? Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. The oil would be in the sump, wouldn't it? So let's see if we can tip him up a little. There you go. Now you'll see I've got to get this nut back in there. Now let me get my little ratchet tool and see if I can feed this bolt back into this cowling. Is it at all going to line up? Oh, I can just about see that in there. I think with a bit of jiggling and a bit of jiffling, it will go. Oh, I think we got it. Or have we? Yeah, we have. We got it, guys. We are in. There you go. So this bottom bolt is back in. It's the top bracket now that we need to fabricate. There you go, we're in at the bottom, look. Let me sit this engine back down now. Oh, I wish I was like Musty One and had a hydraulic table, you know, so I weren't working on the floor. But this is a bit too big and heavy to get on a bench. Right, now as you can see, now that's bolted on, the flywheel is catching on that, something chronic. Yeah, that flywheel is catching on this engine, something horrific. So we've got to get this whole thing upwards a little, so it'll clear. It's all cleared on these ones. It's all cleared around here. Right. How are we going to get this upwards a little? Bit of brute force. Possibly a bit of brute force. Right, that's still catching on that engine. Ah, there you go. engine's turning, not catching on flywheel. Or is it? No, that ain't. No. So I think that just wanted a little tweak up, which is probably how you adjust it, if I'm honest. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of sideways movement on there as well. I've also found 2 bolts which go in these holes here. Can you see these holes? Can you see them holes? I don't know whether you guys can see them bolt holes. Now you'll be able to. Alright, I found 2 bolts what go in these holes. So we need to make a bracket up what comes from here up to here. Now whether we've got to put 2 on, I really don't know. We might have to have one either side, so you got 2 come up into one, or will one just hold it? I think we've got to make one and see if that works. Alright, let me get a steel ruler and we'll see if we can measure how long our bracket needs to be, because it needs to come sort of up at this angle up to here, with an L at the bottom and an angle at the top, so we can bolt it down. Alright, let's have a measure up. I have a steel rule. Now this one's got feet and inches that side. Cha-ching! We're going to go metric, I'm afraid. I can't measure small distances in inches very well. It's bizarre, I know, but I can't. So I think we need... Let's have a look up there. So our hole's in the middle. We want to come... So we want about 20 mil, I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah, we will want about 20 mil. Then we need to have a bend upwards, which needs to come up another 130 mil, and then we've got to come in another 20. So we've got 20, 40, 170 mil all together. So if we cut our piece of metal 180 mil, and here's the piece I'm using. I found a nice piece of galvanised, which is quite heavy, about 4 mil thick, 5 mil thick, something like that. It's quite a nice thick piece of metal, this, so one might do it. I'm hoping if we get one bolted down, I won't have to go making 2 up. That'll do. So let me get a bit of this cut off, about 170, 180 mil, and we'll see if we can get some bends in. Oh yes. Right, we have got a piece of metal cut, 180 mil. So 20 mil in, we need a sort of bend, but not a straight bend. It's got to be one kind of at an angle, hasn't it? Because we don't want to go straight out, because I might at some time want to put a pulley and the belt will have to come up here. So we really want to keep this angle and come onto this hole. And I have a sneaky feeling if we just put one on, that will do it. Of course, this is pretty thick steel. So we're going to want our bend 20 mil in, sort of across here somewhere. Now I've scribed a mark on there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much somewhere where we need to put our bend. Now how are we going to bend this piece of metal? Because she's a thick old bit. I'm wondering if we've got to heat it red in the vise and then bend it over with a hammer. There we go, we're going to get this red hot, flip her over while she's cherry, nip her in and give her a bend. This might take a while. Or it might not. I think my gas is running low. Yep, this gas is definitely running out. Let me change this gas cylinder. There you go. Brush wear away now. Now we've got some heat. Oh yeah, starting to heat that now, I can see it. She's starting to get red. We ain't got to put total L on that, have we? Just a sort of semi-L. You know, 20 degrees or something. Oh yeah, she's getting red now, though. Alright, she's red. Oh well, that's coming out on camera, but that's definitely starting to glow. Is that too hot down the bottom for me to touch? No, it ain't too bad down the bottom. I aren't going to want to hold on to it for too long, but... Right. Before that gets too much chance to cool down, let me get that in here with my bracket. Yep, that's my 20mm. Oh, that's hot. And we'll see if we can get that bent over. Right. Let's have a look. We do want a bit more of a bend on this. So what I'm going to do is put the short end in. And see how that measures out. Let me just offer it up quickly while that's still hot. That is about perfect. Right. Ooh, I need some water to cool that down. Let's get you back round here. Then you can see what we're doing. Right. Here's our bit of metal. Put a hole in there, that'll bolt in. Bend the top of this over. And that will come onto our bracket engine to make the bracket. Absolutely marvellous. So I just need to mark, this is still very, very hot. I need to mark where our bends need to come here. Across there. Ouch. Right, I need to get some water and put that in. Back in a minute. Right, we have bent our bracket, which now sits level on the bottom there and goes in the top. So I think I need to get some holes drilled in here to hold this, and then that should be our bracket made. And no, it's not catching on that V pulley. And I will tidy these ends, these corners up so we ain't got sharp corners on there. Just so it looks a little bit more factory. Yeah. Yeah, we'll tidy them corners up. That'll be brilliant. That will be brilliant. Yeah, we're not catching on there with the flywheel, so that's good. Right. Better get some holes drilled, I suppose. I need to mark where they need to go, don't I? Where's this hole under here? Somewhere here, look. Jeez, that'll do. Oh, I see where it is. Right. We will get some holes drilled. Right, our bracket is made. I've rounded the ends off, got him bent, and he fits, look. That end bolted in there, that end bolted in there, and I think that will hold it. Let's get one in the engine. Yeah, we'll get one of these screwed down into the engine. Unfortunately, my riv nut tool isn't here because it's something I don't normally use on stationary engines. It's actually down Man Cave HQ. And I last used them on the camper van. So we're not going to be able to get this cover totally fitted on here today. Because unfortunately, like I said, I don't have my riv nuts. So what we're just going to do is get this one on here. And see how we go. That's not far out. So I ain't tightened it up yet, but I think once that's tightened, that will hold that nicely. Well, what else can we do? I don't think we can do anything because I want to start this thing, but I can't do it until I got this flywheel held. This tin on here held. Which is a shame. But once we get this on, we can see if this thing starts again. Marvellous. That will be good, won't it? Right, there we are. There is the Douglas that you've all been asking about. When's the Douglas coming back? Well, she's here. And me and Mrs. Man Cave have some big news coming up soon. We don't want to say too much at the minute, but we do have some big news coming up. Right, that is going to be it for this video. Unfortunately, I don't have my damn riv nuts here, do I? Right, never mind. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now. Douglas!